Pink Sock Podcast, your go-to destination for a wild and unpredictable ride through the realms of music, comedy, cannabis culture, and beyond. With your host, the fearless, the irreverent, Mike Usenik, presenting eclectic, entertaining, enlightening, surprising content. Join in the fun, push boundaries, challenge conventions, explore the spectrum of human experience. We won't shy away from any topic. Entertainment, exploration, connection. Join us.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing, darling? And welcome to another edition of Pink Sock Podcast. I'm excited. I'm excited for this. We have Kristoffer in the chat in the episode today, and he is formerly of the band Pain of Salvation. He's an incredible bass player and he's an incredible songwriter. So without further ado, we have Kristoffer. So how are you doing today, buddy? Do you prefer Kristoffer or Chris, or does it matter?
Doesn't really matter. No.
All right. Everybody might hate Chris Rock, but everybody loves this Chris. So you learned piano at the age of 8 years old, bro. Like when I was 8, I was probably still shitting in my pants. Like you were learning piano.
Well, it's quite common in Sweden that you kind of have like from the age of 8, 9 that you know there's some kind of instrument you can learn like 20 minutes a week at school. Usually kids pick up the violin or the recorder or the guitar or the piano. That's kind of what it is. And
That's cool,
later
man.
you become more of a rock and roller and then go into from acoustic guitar to electric guitar or from piano to keyboards or whatever. But it's
Yeah, we didn't start till like middle school. Like maybe I was like 13 when I started playing an instrument. So like you guys start young. That's the problem with our country, man. We don't let creativity flow. That's what. When was your first band though? Was you 8 and you started bands and you was touring the world, or was you a slow start?
no, I think it wasn't until I was like 14, 15, like in school. There was like a small rehearsal room at school, so at the lunch break we'd play Metallica or whatnot, and took it from there. Just small playing covers and trying to figure stuff out. And
So
my
8 years
brother
old,
That's
started when he was
awesome.
11, so he was like really early on starting. They actually played in our garage, so that was like the way it's supposed to be.
dude, that's cool as fuck, and I love that, man, because I learned. I started off on trumpet, and I was like 13 or 14. I've always loved music though, and I've always wanted to get into music. So, was your first band with your brother, or was it you with friends? Or
No, I had like small cover. We had a cover band, and we had one band that we kind of make. I don't maybe 4 or 5 songs of our own, like really amateuristic stuff. There was when was this? Middle of the 90s. Dream Theater just released Images and Words and Awake. That kind of stuff. So the progressive metal was all over the place, and everyone was like, "Let's try something like that." Which is like, I have something, and you have something, and you have something, and we just smash it up and see if we can reach 13-minute songs or something like that. Very technical.
so,
Doesn't have to feel natural at all. Just put it together and see where you're at.
Dream Theater was fucking beast though, bro. Like they
Yeah,
had like hour-long songs, man.
that was crazy days for sure.
Would you say that they're one of your early music influences that shaped you into like the musician you are today?
Well, they came on a little bit later. I got on. I mean, when I was young, I listened to everything. But when I started playing like rock and roll, it was a little bit more like 60s, 70s rock. Like I really got into like Jimi Hendrix and Deep Purple, that kind of music first. Some punk, a little bit for some reason. And it was the 90s, of course. So the grunge came around. I wasn't really like the Nirvana grunge, but more of the Alice in Chains kind of grunge. So that part. Metallica's
Like
Black
heavier,
Album, of
like
course, was
heavier
huge.
grunge, like
The
heavier
what?
grunge, like heavier grunge, like Alice in Chains, Soundgarden,
Yeah,
and shit.
Alice in Chains kind of grunge. Yeah,
Fucking love it, man.
not the like that kind of felt like realer. I don't know if you know the more depth, more even more sorrow than the competing bands. And then of course the whole Queen Strike came up with Promised Land. Operation Mindcrime was already there, of course, and the Wake album dropped for Dream Theater, and there was like, wow, what happened here? And that kind of
That is
changed the scene completely. And Pain Isolation was, of course, already into some kind of, you know, in the ballpark of playing progressive metal already then. So it really
how did that band come about?
Pain Isolation. Well, as I said, my brother started when he was 11, and it kind of just evolved from there. They changed name after a while. They were called Reality in the really early days, but they were just small kids. As I said, 11. I think he was the oldest, so some of them were like 9 or 10, and they were making
Jesus.
their own music, playing real songs. So they really had the ambitions to do something, and that just kept on growing, like real, like it used to be. They started off in the garage, then they got a rehearsal room, and changing the lineup and writing new music, and they started. Um, Educating themselves in music, see what that left them, evolving from there. So that's
So what are some of your memorable moments or highlights of your career in Pain of Salvation, would you say?
um wow, many. I still have the very first gig like printed in my brain that as I said, I was playing with some friends and we're doing our best, the best we could, and we played like a local, I think it was like a local YMCA kind of place. And of course, no one came watching. Last minute, my mother's like, "Okay, we have to go. We have to go watch them." And she took my brother with her. It's like, "Come, you have to watch your kid brother." And I think we played 4 or 5 songs. That was what we had. And for some reason, that kind of at least um, reassured him that okay, I can maybe use my kid brother for a gig. And that's kind of what happened. The bass player left, and they had a gig, like also a small local place. And like, shit, we don't have a bass player. Can you just join in? And there was like a Christmas rock dash kind of thing, and I had to learn all those bass parts. And I just started playing bass like 2 years earlier. And after that, it was like, yeah, that was good. You can stay. But that gig, I was like, oh, because
Bro, I
I was
love
my
That's
brother's biggest
awesome, though.
fan. I used to be, just in front of the stage cheering him on. Like, oh, I really adore my brother and his band and Pain of Salvation. They're so cool. I wish I was that good, And then it's like, oh shit, I'm in the band. Now what?
you're an amazing bassist too, because I tried learning bass and I could never get that slap style down, and you perfected that.
Ah, thank you. I wouldn't say it myself, but
How long did it take you to learn that style? Because it's not an easy style to play.
Um, I'm an easy, a really quick learner. I picked that up pretty quickly. We had, I think everyone, especially if you live in Sweden, there's a book called the Slap Bass Book or something like that. So I think everyone, at least who played bass in the 80s and 90s, have had that book kind of thing. So we bought that one. I had my teacher, and we were going through it, and I think we went halfway through the book when I kind of outslept my teacher, not because he was bad, but because I had the interest to kind of perfect it and do something with it. So a lot of practicing going on, and I don't know, it just happened. And of course, I don't know if you know the earlier Pain of Salvation. They were slapping, progressive metal with slapping. There was actually slapping parts, and I'm just that's so cool. So for me, it was like something natural. You have to learn that because you have to know that. So
I
just
love it, bro. Like
That's
I've
beautiful.
always been into the slap playing because I love Les Claypool
oh
of
yeah, yeah.
Primus. And I just love that. And when I heard that first Pain of Salvation album, I heard the slapping. I'm like, wow, this dude's fucking getting it. Like I love it.
Yeah,
So you ended up leaving Pain of Salvation in what, 2006?
yeah. Early 2006.
What caused you to leave? Was it creative differences or did you just want to do your own thing?
No, I in 2003 I moved to the Netherlands. So I live in the Netherlands now, and we did two tours, two lengths of a tour in 2005,
Hmm.
and the rest of the guys just thought it was a little bit too difficult to practice and get everything like getting a band going with me living so far away, and I could just show up like maybe a week before tour date, and so they're like, "This is not working."
So it
You
was like
live.
it was a mutual
No,
thing.
it was definitely not mutual. In that way, I was kicked out, and for me, it was always kind of. I mean, we're on really good terms now, but at the time, and I wasn't that happy with it. Social media wasn't the way it is today, so it was like, yeah, I was kind of pushed off stage in that way. It felt very weird because I was kind of waiting for, okay, let's start with a new album. I was really looking forward and recording a new album, doing new music, and then I got a different kind of phone call. And of course, the reason being that I live too far away, and just look at them now. They have to fly over a keyboard player from the US every time they have to play. I was like, how is that not more inconvenient than me living?
I, I get it, man. My question is though, talking about that, you decided to pursue a solo career. What made you choose a solo career and not just starting your own band? And how does writing as a solo artist differ from your time in Pain of Salvation?
Well, I never really wrote anything with Pain of Salvation. There's one song that I wrote, one riff.
Hmm.
Um, it wasn't really a creative situation that way. Like my brother always had so many ideas and so many great ideas that you took the position. Okay, let's do that because it's going to be great anyway. What I do, it's really amateuristic. It's not gonna cut it. So when I was out of the band, I still didn't really write music, really amateur-ish pop songs back in the days. But started like a small band with some friends down here in the Netherlands, and we made the album Synchronized of Dial, which is kind of like a art rocky kind of um, album. And that was when I kind of started making my own music. And when we were done with that album and we played that, and I just kept writing music, and I was like, okay, I think I have enough material that's not going to be another Dial album, so let's make a solo album. And then I
Hmm.
started making the first album, and that made second album and third album, and now we're up to 4 albums, 5 albums. Sorry, I lost count.
You keep saying amateuristic, and I know we're our own worst hypocrites, man, but you're doing a great job. So keep it up, man,
Thank you.
because
Yeah.
I really did enjoy your latest release, bro. Like it was
Thank you.
fucking very emotional. Empty was.
Empty.
Um,
Yeah.
so what inspired that theme, or was you just feeling that way and you had to let that emotion out?
Um, what inspired it? I had some different ideas about it when I started. Like I wrote this album in
Hmm.
2018, 2019, and it was supposed to be my third album. And then every time I was kind of like what can you say, like a split state of mind. I had some different influences running through, so I kept on writing music, and I'm like, this music doesn't stick together. I had this, what I was aiming for, like heavier progressive rock, symphonic rock songs, which is empty now. But I also
Mhm.
started writing music that was more like acoustic and just much lighter. So at a point, I'm like, this is not one album. These are two different albums, two different kind of feelings. I can't push them together. I can't force them together. So that's when Homebound came out. So it's like these are two different albums, but I wrote them at the same time. And I thought, why not record them at the same time and release them almost at the same time? So the idea was to release them both in 2020.
Mhm.
But Homebound was done earlier. So I'm like, okay, let's focus on getting that one mixed and properly produced and get it out. And just when it was done, the whole COVID thing happened, and
Wasn't
that
that a
kind of,
shit show?
yeah,
That
horrible, horrible. All my, I think we sent away like 50 promo albums that they just got lost in the mail because of the whole problem with mail delivery that was going on back then. So it was
Mhm.
horrible, and it was like, okay, then I can't continue finishing empty because I need people to come to my studio to record it, and we were in lockdown, so we can't do anything. So I had to
So
put it back into the fridge, as we say here in the Netherlands, on the back burner.
I
And
get it because with the pandemic, you couldn't have, like you said, people in the studio. And this
yeah,
album is big on collaboration. I've noticed, like there was guest
yeah.
vocalists
Well,
and
I've
musicians.
had several people say like, "Oh, there's a lot of guest musicians," but I've always had a lot of guest musicians on every album, except "Let Me Be a Ghost" because it was written and recorded in the pandemic period. So I was like, I have to make an album which I can do like 95%, which is me. So a lot of synthesizers and that kind of stuff. But since my first album, like the Rust, I had like 27 guest musicians on, choirs and children's and whatnot. That's the way I work. I love that.
So I was
Um,
listening to the album and I noticed there was a song called "Beautiful Decay," and the lyrics
mm.
feel like they're very personal. So what is that song about, or what does it mean to you?
Well, it's a funny thing. The Beautiful Decay was actually supposed to be on Homebound,
Hmm.
but I had this stupid idea or great idea. I don't know if you want to make a DVD along with it and have a music video to fit every song. So it's a DVD with music videos, and I could not um, I wasn't able to make that music video the way I had it in my head. It was just not possible. So I was like,
Mhm.
okay, then I'll skip it. Then I'm not going to put it on the album. I'm not going to make a half-assed music video just because I have to. So like, I'm going to keep that one for the next album. But it's about actually like growing up in a small town and wanting to leave. You have all these big ideas about conquering the world, seeing the world, traveling, do anything. You're just way too big for that small little place.
Mhm.
And for some reason, you just kind of get stuck there. So there's always something kind of getting in your way from leaving. And this is kind of going through the life of such a person. There's actually two of them, like the love of their lives. And for some reason, they cannot leave together. Just get the hell out of here and do something. And you kind of get rusty and stuck in that place. And okay, then this is what it is. When we're stuck here. We had all these ideas, we had all these dreams, and the future was ours. But you know, here we are, 60 something, 70 something, and we're still here. We haven't left yet. So
Bro, that is beautiful.
Mhm.
Is that a
Could
personal experience, or is that just something you thought of?
that's no, it's not a personal. Oh, because I left. I did
Yeah,
move.
yeah, I did.
Yeah, I did it. But no, that's inspiration from other stories, films, whatnot. If you Tracy Chapman's Fast Cars also has that kind of theme to it.
Yeah.
Just we have to get out of here. So it's
Bro, I'm a
Who's
stand
your
up.
motivation? I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
But
Go ahead.
I just
Go
have
ahead,
to
Pink.
know
You had a
who's your
question. Go ahead.
motivation for Down We Go?
for the music or for
The
the
lyrics.
lyrics. Um,
Or is it
I think we
separate?
all are.
Like, do you have like,
It's it's actually like really looking at humanity as it is. It's written in a like a very personal form, like me and you, but it actually
hmm
symbolizes the whole humanity, that we keep on pointing fingers, we keep on trying to push other people down, and by doing
yeah,
so we're actually just ruining everything for ourselves, for others, for everyone, and kind of, yeah, just pushing ourselves down in the mud, and we can't leave. It's and we
okay,
when we finally kind of wake up, like, shit, what have we done? It's too late. We've been so busy blaming each other, instead of looking like, what can I do to make things better? We just, no, I didn't do that, must be someone else. So that kind of it's kind of like an aftermath thing. You take something really, if you talk about the environmental crisis or whatever, we all knew about it, but we kept on pointing fingers at someone else how to, solve it. And all of a
yeah,
sudden you're somewhere like, okay, but this is not reversible. We're stuck here, and we did it. We fucked it up, not they, not, we all did it, and we're
hmm
all the same. We all make wars, we all pollute, we all make stupid things, um, and we
And
have to point the fingers
that's
at
all part of
ourselves.
the human condition, sadly, and
Yeah,
we won't admit it
indeed.
to ourselves. And now that Empty is out to the world, which I luckily I was lucky enough to hear it early because I reviewed it for Audio Vein Entertainment. Shout out to them. What do you hope listeners take away from the album, and what message do you hope to convey to them?
Well, I hope, or when I first kind of wrote it, and it was becoming a complete, with the artwork and everything. What I would really like is for people to take out of it what they want, to make it like a really personal something. People keep on asking me, so what's on the front of your cover? What's the artwork? What is that? And I said, I'm not going to tell you. I know what it is, but I'm not going to tell you, because I want you to look at it and see things in it and go, wow, oh, I see this, or this, it means like this for me, or I read the lyrics this way, or I read the lyrics that way. I know what I want to say, but if someone else takes another meaning to it, or a personal meaning to it, then that's the best compliment I can get.
See, that's beautiful because art is subjective. Even though it means something totally different to you, the
Hmm.
listener can take away something else. And I
Yeah.
like that process of it. Now that
I
the album's out though, do you have a tour in the works? Or because I see you're doing a
No, I
prog
really hope,
festival.
I would love to go like on a support tour with a bigger band, like a good suiting band who plays in front of a good crowd that would be interested in my music. Me myself, I'm just on the verge. I'm a little bit too small, so I can't really do my own tours. But it's pretty hard finding good bands and getting in there and getting the opportunity. But we're working on it. We got some festival shows coming, so that's always
Bro,
helping.
call up your brother, tour with Pain of Salvation. Come on now.
Who?
Who's that? Who's
I don't think they have anything. I don't think they have anything booked either. So that's.
So
But who knows? Maybe one day.
are there any artists or bands that you currently listen to that you would love to collaborate with in the future?
Oh, lots of them, but it's all over the place. From just, I do a lot of session stuff as well. as a bass
Mhm.
player or even as a singer lately, which is weird because I never considered myself a singer. But so just being with a big band or a big artist, just playing bass in the background would be awesome. Just going on a big, nice tour. Um, or yeah, there's a lot of musicians I'd like to work with. See if we can get things, get the juices flowing, get the see
That
what
was
they
a
can
really
do,
good.
I
That
can
was a
do
really
with
good
it.
British accent, bro.
Yeah,
That was
Yeah.
toss the cookies.
I'll take a spot of tea.
Yeah, and
A little bit of water. So you do a lot of charity work, though.
yeah.
I've noticed. And what is some of the causes that are important to you, and how do you use your music to raise the awareness?
Well, I love to. I love to. That sounds a bit weird, but it almost feels like a duty to speak up for those who cannot speak up for themselves. So
Mhm.
anything with animals, of course. I did a big project for kids that have been beaten or sexually abused, stuff like that. And when you do that, it comes back to these albums or this album with the lyrics about humanity. That if you if you take away the human equation in this all, like you wouldn't need charities if it wasn't for humans. Like
Mhm.
almost everything we give money to is first in the first place put there by human behavior.
Mhm.
War or mistreated animals or kids or whatever. It's humans or all these diseases, which is of course is horrible, but they're human diseases. Very few animals get these diseases, or even if they do get them, they're even put down because there's not going to be any. If a dog gets cancer or something,
Yeah.
there's not going to be a huge,
And
research.
unfortunately, like you said, unfortunately, a lot of diseases, especially like STDs, came from animals because humans, the whole bestiality thing.
Yeah,
So a lot of it's our own fault.
yeah. As all these big diseases amongst animals, the bird disease, and you name it, they wouldn't be there if we hadn't fucked it up to start with. If we hadn't fucked up am I allowed to say the F word? Sorry, just
By the way,
bleep me.
Chris, I would like you to know that nothing is off limit on this show as long as the
It's off
guest is
limit.
comfortable. The name of the show is Pink Sock. Do you know what one is?
No, but I see a lot of pink going
Do you know
back
what a
and
pink
forth.
sock is? That's for the people that have ADHD. Ooh, pretty colors. No, but no, pink sock is a slang term for a prolapsed rectum. So yes, you can say fuck.
Okay.
You can say you can say whatever you can say whatever the fuck you want. You can, you're Christopher, bro. You're allowed to say whatever the fuck you
Yeah,
want.
say whatever I want.
Yeah.
So where
But
do
yeah,
you
but
see
yeah,
your
but we fucked it up. Yeah,
yeah?
in a
What
way,
what
and I
are
just
some of the
hope we have
causes?
the time to unfuck it.
What are some of the charities though you'd like to shout out that you help out with?
Oh, many different. We do collecting money for sick animals here in the Netherlands, so I'm participating in that. I did a big charity thing with a song about baby elephants. Just knowing that
Oh,
the speeches that I made, like there are so few elephants that we our generation will probably see the last elephant, the last
oh shit!
wild elephant.
I didn't know that. That's
Th-
fucking crazy.
That's how bad it is. That's how few elephants there are.
Well, you know what's terrifying, bro? I read somewhere that the honeybee is going extinct, and that's how we
Hmm.
live.
Then yeah, then we're definitely
Like
done.
we're
And
fucked.
then down we go.
Yeah, and it's wild to think. And did you know? Since you're into animals, I'm gonna throw some animal fact at you.
Here we
Did you
go.
know that? Did you know that baby elephants view us the way we view baby puppies? Like they view us as adorable.
That's why they keep giving people hugs and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's why they view us as
Yeah.
adorable. Elephants think we're cute.
They just get born and they go like, "Oh, they're so cute! Look at that hairless monkey."
Look at them walking on their back
No,
Yeah,
feet.
no, I wouldn't say hairless monkey, bro. I'm hairier than most monkeys. I don't know what the fuck
Yeah.
you
well,
I don't
compared
know
to
the,
monkey.
compared to the normal human.
Yeah.
So, where do you see yourself heading musically in the coming years, and what are your aspirations for your future?
I finally just released this album. As I said, I started recording it in 2018, 19. So it's finally kind of out of my system. Even if I released two other albums in between, but it's been in my head the whole time. So finally, I haven't made any other like new songs or anything. Lots of ideas. I always record my ideas, so I'm gonna go back to all these ideas and check that out. And what I'm hoping is to up it a notch and go a little bit heavier than I have now. So I'm not going completely prog metal, but there will be some even more heavier parts. And what I really like to do is keep the groove in there, kind of like what we had in the early days with Pain of Salvation. Like it's rhythmic, it's hard, it's metal-ish, but there's always this groove to it. Never lose the groove,
See,
which
I
is a
love
lot of
that.
progressive metal today is just so timed. It's always click track-ish timed. So I want
See,
to.
dude, the thing that I want to comment on though is earlier you said you don't view yourself as a vocalist. Now, you might not personally, but after hearing this album, bro, your voice, and I mean this as a compliment, your voice is very haunting in a way where like the emotions are really felt.
Thank you.
And I love it. I love that style of vocal. So keep singing, man. Don't
I'll
stop.
do my best. I'll do my best. Well, the thing is, I kind of figure out. I'm technically, I don't have a lot of range or anything, and I'm not as on point as I'd like to be.
Mhm.
Um, but most of the singers that I kind of really enjoy aren't even. If you listen to Roger Waters or Bob Dylan, Mark Knopfler, for instance, I mean, they're not. I'm a big fan of Leonard Cohen. He's not a great singer by any means, but what they all can do is tell the story. They can bring
Yes.
the lyrics and the emotion from the lyrics to the listener,
And
and
they're great
that's
singers
what
for
I'm
their
trying.
projects. They're
Do
per,
what
they're
they
per
what they can do. Yeah.
And I can actually tell the Roger Waters influence through this album, really, because there's some moments where it does feel kind of Pink Floydy in like a
Yes,
progressive kind of way.
definitely. And I'm not hiding it. It's more like an ode to, like I'm paying homage to these great bands.
Because
So
in
I'm,
my
I'm not trying to
review, I
steal it,
did
but I'm
mention,
definitely Pink Floydish, definitely Roger Waterish, Mike Oldfieldish. I put it in there. Definitely,
because
it's meant.
I would say your music is like psychedelic metal.
Haha, there you go.
Is that fair? Is that a fair
I've
genre for you?
seen
Psychedelic
that
metal?
this album. I've seen that a couple of times in a review, like psychedelic rock or metal. It's I can live with that because I always get the question. So in what genre do you play? I was like, I don't know. I don't fit anywhere. It's like singer songwriter, but also symphonic progressive kind of ish, but also very very not because it's just four chords around around around. But
See, I don't like having to put somebody in a genre because there's a lot of musicians I listen to that cover all sides of the spectrum. But
yeah,
sadly, in the media side of things, you have to so people know what they're about to listen to.
yeah.
And like it's hard to explain, especially when you're doing a review when you got somebody like this fucker down here who's got progressive rock and psychedelic rock and fucking. How do I describe you, bro?
I don't know either. Well,
Bro, I've been.
it's hard to get like if you're not in a genre, it's very hard to get gigs or get listed on a festival if they're not quite sure where to put you. So it's humans need labels apparently.
It's sad. It's a sad
Yeah,
world we live in, bro.
it's a sad world.
Yeah.
It's all part of the human condition.
Yeah.
But where can we find you on social media and stuff? Like, where are you active?
Um, just under my name. Apparently, I have a very unique name, so I'm easy to find. So
You do.
I'm mostly on Facebook still. I don't know why. It's quite frustrating. And on Instagram, those are the two. I think I have a Twitter. I still say Twitter because X sounds weird, but I think I have a Twitter account. And I think it's linked to either
Bro,
my
X is weird because when they changed their name to X, man, I was like, now I'm leaving it because it's my ex. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
I
great.
didn't like when they changed their name to X.
Such a bad decision.
But we
It's
can
like talk
actually.
about killing.
I'm making it easy for you. I'm making it easy for you and the listeners. Down below, we have your website,
Yeah,
so they can just visit that.
and it's linked
Is
from
is
there.
your name pronounced Kristoffer Gildenlow? Is that how you pronounce it, or is it a
Uh, when I
fancier than
speak
that?
English, I do. Yeah, Gildenlow, but in Swedish, it's Gildenlöv. But it's not
Oh,
really.
yield and love.
Yeah, but it's not really a Swedish name in that way either. So even in Sweden, they're like, "You called what?" My parents were like 60s, 70s hippies, and they had two different names. My mom is actually from Austria, and she had like an Austrian name, and she didn't want to have that anymore. And my father had a really super Swedish name, and he was like, I don't want that anymore either. So they went to the city hall and it's like, we want to change our last name now that we're married. What can we do? And then they got like a list of names, like any of these, like, yeah, we like that, but we want to change that, we want to change that, we want to change that. Okay. So they kind of made this name up. It doesn't mean anything really, and
That's
it's
awesome, though.
in a way it's also patterned. So no one is allowed to use this last name unless we approve of it.
You know that your parents were hippies when they made their last name Yield and Love.
Yeah.
So, bro, it's been fun chatting with you. Is there anything else you would like to promote that you have coming up?
Just my album.
Just go check it out.
Just
By the way, guys, Empty is amazing. It's
Empty.
available on all streaming platforms, and you can also find it at
Yay.
ChristopherGildenlove.com or Gildenlow if you're in the United States.
Yeah. Or
Gild-
Gildenlov if you're in the Netherlands.
Gildenlove, or say it angrier than that, and you're German.
Yeah. Gildenlov.
Nice.
Gildenlove. Bro, you're always welcome back on the show when you have
I
stuff
would
to
love
promote.
to. This was
Or even
great.
if you want to, even if you want to just chat, bro, you're always welcome. Our show is very open topic. We talk about everything from the taboo to the not. So
Oh,
you're
that
allowed to
would
say.
make that happen. Sounds like a great plan.
I loved chatting with you, brother. We will be premiering this very soon. And if there's anything else you want to say, now's the floor.
Don't be an asshole.
Yeah, and if you are, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
By the way, with that being said, peace and love, everyone.
Peace.
Live long, rock hard, and that was Kristoffer Gildenlow. I said that like Rammstein.
Yeah.